But we somewhat talked about this already because the writing's been on the wall for Seattle to get another professional team, whether that would be hockey or basketball. And hockey made it there first, going to the Emerald City in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Seattle is the 18th largest city in the U.S. and has not had a winter sports team since the NBA's Supersonics left for OKC back in 2008. So, little average right there for you.
There you go.
And something else that kind of caught my eye, Seattle is throwing some cash at this. So, one reason maybe to really kind of get behind, hoping a new franchise takes hold, like the way Vegas Golden Knights did in their first year, very successful. They paid $500 million to the league for that expansion. Well, it's up 30%. $650 million is the cost for league entry that Seattle has to pay, or the owners, or however that works. But that's steep. That is very expensive. But the 32nd franchise is coming for the 2021 and 22 season. I have not come across anything as far as anything different as far as how they will get to select their players. I'm sure they'll get those draft picks. How'd that work out with
the
Vegas?
expansion draft? Yeah, I think they are going to be doing it the exact same way for them. It may be slanted one way or another just a bit. People were it seemed a little upset almost that an expansion team was doing so well in a new market. And my initial thought on that was, well, yeah, you kind of want them to do well.
That's
because
what you want.
need to grow it in that market.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how else are you going to create a fan base? You can't expect a fan base to get behind a new team and wait for them to build to a winner in 5 to 7 seasons. That's not going to happen.
No.
You need to build that base quick in a market that has it there and will give you your attention for a season or two. You need to make sure it's a good product that you're putting out there. So I think they are going to do it the same way.
Yeah. And it will do a little reorganization in the league as well. So it's kind of interesting. I think it is kind of fun and somewhat disappointing depending on what teams are affected. But in this case, the Coyotes are getting moved to the Central in that conference. So I don't think there's anything dire. That's not an old franchise that it's going to miss out on these tougher or these beloved rivalries, like being a Blues fan when they lost, having that chance to play against the Red Wings. Yeah, I love that every year. Point being, that was something that you could take away from the league, but I think in this case, a reorg is welcomed. So I think it's going to be neat to see.
Yeah, I'm a little curious if I wonder if they are going to move another team over to the East. I don't have it pulled up specifically in front of me, but I want to then say that the West is going to be overbalanced by 2 teams as opposed to the East. So I'm curious if they're going to balance it out at some point. Now we'll have to maybe check back with that and post a little comment when we actually post this episode, because I don't have it pulled up here. But when they added Vegas, if I remember correctly, it did unbalance it by 1 team, which makes sense because they had 31 teams. To then, if they had another one, that it would be very unbalanced in the West to have 2 extra teams there.
Yeah. Well, since the team's not named yet, Eric, you got a team name you might like better?
Well, I do have a list of some of the team names that some places have put together.
All right.
And they put some odds behind it as well, too. So I'm going to read you some of the team names, and I'm going to read you the odds of who or what they expect it to be. So some of these nicknames I don't entirely get and how they relate to the region.
Okay.
But we'll see. So Emeralds is the leading candidate right now at what they have.
I get it. It's the Emerald City, yeah.
It's the Emerald City, so that one totally makes sense. And then number 2 at 600-1 is the Totems. Being in the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of that type of culture up there. The Rainiers, I don't really like that one, but 650-1. Evergreens, 800-1. Here's the one that you just mentioned right there, the Kraken, 800-1. I think that's a cool name for a hockey team. I kind of like that one.
Makes me want to drink a Kraken rum or something. I don't know. It makes me think of booze.
It is kind of a booze, or maybe think of Jack Sparrow. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
The Renegades.
Okay, Renegades.
The Renegades. I actually grew up in a city that had their minor league hockey team is the Renegades, so I like that one. The Sea Lions, 800 to 1 as well too.
Well, didn't they used to be the Seals? Did they?
There was the Seals, and it was in San Jose.
Okay.
Or Sacramento.
Somewhere in Northern California. Okay.
It was a really old. It was an expansion team from like the same year that the Blues came in the
Gotcha.
70s. So, it was back then. Firebirds 950 to 1, Cougars 1,000 to 1, Eagles 1,000 to 1, Seals 1,100 to 1. The Whales.
Okay.
1,100 to 1. I don't like the Whales just because of the Whalers and stuff like that. I actually really
well,
hate
and something that I forgot to mention with the rivalries, their new rival will get to be just right across the border in Vancouver. I think how sweet is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're going to build that one up a lot.
Yeah,
because they're very close to each other. And then the last one on the list, the Sockeyes, coming in at 1,500 to 1.
I like this.
And I got all this.
Yeah.
I got all these from OddsShark. You can look them up and find their entire complete list. But I actually just read it to you, so you're good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Eric. Well, it is this time of year. What time of year? The winter. We're heading into the new year, and we're not done with talking about football yet. Let's jump into our Lightning standings, and we're going to break down a couple of the matchups that we think are worthwhile. There are so many freaking college bowl games, as I'm sure most people know. So real quick, Eric, take us through some of the regulation or the requirements, if you will, to become bowl eligible, and why then we get to see so many games before we look at some of these.
So there are a lot of games. I actually did not count them up. I got distracted, but I do have the entire list here. As far as becoming bowl eligible, you need to win at least 6 games. That's pretty much the only requirement. After that, then every bowl has certain requirements as far as what schools and conferences they are affiliated with, and whether it's an at-large bid, whether it's a conference winner, et cetera, et cetera. For example, one of the most well-known bowls and who they take is the Rose Bowl. They take every year the Big Ten winner and the Pac-12 winner. The exception for the Rose Bowl is, of course, if they are hosting one of the playoff games now for the college football playoff, or if they would be hosting the championship game there at one of those places. So those are some of the basic requirements. So were there some games that you picked out, Ty, that you liked, or some great bowl names?
I'd really rather talk about the bowl names, but real quick, Purdue Auburn's coming up on December 28th for the Music City Bowl. I think that one could have some entertainment potential. Boston College Boise State for the First Responder Bowl. That's December 26th. One of my former schools, South Florida, Marshall, Gasparilla Bowl. That's just a good name right there. And I don't know, maybe something besides going for the obvious with the Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, UCF, LSU. That's going to be a good matchup out of the first of 2019 games. And of course, Rose Bowl should be good too, but I think the Fiesta Bowl is going to be one of the better ones. Some interesting teams that stay competitive throughout the season. So there you go. When it comes to some names, though, you come across like the Idaho Potato Bowl has been around for a minute. I start to appreciate them now. The Camellia Bowl? I don't know what that is. It's weird that there's a New Mexico Bowl and an Arizona Bowl, neither of which feature a team from that state. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And
for the New Orleans Bowl.
And kind of like the Miami Beach Bowl. And
Boca Raton Bowl.
I guess it's just about the marketing there, right? And Birmingham Bowl. Dollar General Bowl, though, it's got to be right up there next to Cheez-Its. Cheez-It Bowl.
It's a pretty, there used to be some better bowl names. I feel in the past, the Gasparilla Bowl, you call out as one great name, Dollar General Bowl, Cheez-It Bowl. Those are just some really standout funny ones as far as what I was looking at. Some of the games that I personally liked or that I'll definitely be following is my alma mater, FIU. had a wonderful season this year in the Conference USA under Butch Davis. The Bahama Bulls are going to be taking on Toledo again. It is actually a rematch from last year. Early in that first quarter last year, their starting quarterback went down with a massive injury and was unable to return, and they got blown out. So now they're going to get their opportunity to fight back and win that game. Another one that really stands out to me is the Peach Bowl, Florida and Michigan. I really like that one. I think that's going to be an exciting game. The Camping World Bowl, I think that might be a surprising game for people to actually kind of enjoy. Syracuse, West Virginia. I think you'd have something fun there. And the Pinstripe Bowl, Wisconsin and Miami. Some teams that early on in the year were really, really highly ranked. Both teams were in the top 10 at times throughout this year. The Pinstripe Bowl is a game that December 27th you guys might want to pay attention to and watch out for that one too. Wisconsin, Miami. And then, of course, this excludes the New Year's Bowls. I'm not pulling up those ones. You guys already know about those ones. Yep. So we're just going to skip over those.
And one thing I'm going to do to you, Eric, is we had a little bit of a Who You Got scheduled, but you know what? It's the end of the year. We're not going to really get to talk about the national champions, perhaps. So I want to throw out a Who You Got to you, Eric, on who's going to win that national title this year. Go for it.
Okay. So didn't prepare for this. So we're going to go with
it's not a hard question.
There's 4 teams. I just want to make sure I got the 4 teams right. It's Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Notre Dame. Is that correct?
Yeah. You think I'm asking you algebra here?
Well, I'm just making sure I got the 4 teams because it doesn't lay it out on the sheet that I'm looking at. Thank you, Ty. All right, am I allowed to pick Alabama because it's who
Is that who you're going with?
Pick.
All right.
No, I'm going to take Oklahoma in the upset.
Wow, you're still going
Sooners.
the upset. All right. And I'm going to go Clemson. They look too tough this year, high scoring. They're locked
Good call.
in. All right.
I like it.
That's going to do it for Season 1, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Actually, some games. Look forward to.
Yeah, we need some games, Ty. We can't leave them.
You got some NFL games coming up.
Yeah, we can't leave them out in the cold, man.
All right. Bust them out real quick.
All right, guys. So we're not going to be back for a couple weeks. So I pulled out a couple of games here for you guys to watch. I try to pick something from every league. So I'm just going to go over some games here and some dates for you. This week in the NFL, look out for New England and Pittsburgh on Sunday. Next Sunday on the 23rd, you got Kansas City and Seattle. This week as well, too, you have the Sabres and the Caps. As far as hockey goes, that's going to be a really, really great matchup. Sabres and the Capitals, look out for that one. Lightning and the Jets on Sunday the 16th as well, too. And then on New Year's Day, you have the Winter Classic. Both teams are not super great, but it is the Winter Classic. It's always a fun game to watch. Boston versus Chicago. And then in basketball, we have a couple of matchups that I pulled out for us as well, too. Raptors versus the Nuggets this Sunday, the 16th, and Lakers versus the Warriors, Christmas Day game. That's a Christmas Day game. Look out for that one. The Lakers are completely surging right now.
Should be fun. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. We're going to see you next year, guys. And hit us up at averagesportsguys@gmail.com.
See ya.